Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about the current state of FIFA, like we do pretty much every year. I always like to do like a first impressions video, and then kind of like a follow up afterwards from playing the Foot Champs weekends and all that kind of stuff. But there's a few things to talk about in regards to the current state of FIFA 21 Ultimate Team, and the first thing that I want to start off with is this gameplay discussion, right? So there's this gameplay discussion, as you guys know, over the course of the years, I've always talked about inconsistent gameplay, right? And in the impressions video, I mentioned to people that this game still has inconsistent gameplay. However, when the gameplay is bad, it hasn't been as bad as previous years. Now, the thing about this comment in particular is that just because it's not as bad as previous years doesn't mean that it isn't bad, okay? Because I'll give you guys an example. So I noticed that during the Foot Champs weekends, during the daytimes, the gameplay is incredibly questionable, right? And I do want to point that out before we get into this specific topic because I want to show you guys one specific clip that happened to me playing yesterday on the Sunday, right? And it was funny because a lot of people were experiencing this, but I feel like people noticed this mostly from Foot Champs because of how the game is responding, right? So this is the best example that I have for my Foot Champs experience playing this Sunday, right? But it's not the only example. It's just an example of inconsistent gameplay. Basically giving you your opinion on how gameplay is in general, right? So this is me playing Foot Champs with my Portuguese team. You can see I have Ronaldo Sanchez, Ricardo Pereira, all these guys, right? I was just trying to have fun with the Portuguese team. So I want to show you guys a specific clip, right? Just so you can see. So it's gonna be like right here. Okay, so you see Gelson Martins right here, right? So again, over the course of the years, you guys have watched my videos in regards to inconsistent gameplay, right? And all the examples that I've given. This is another example. Ignore the time. This has just been a thing that was happening the entire game. I'm winning the game, right? And I won the game. But I just want to show you guys some things here. Okay? So, couple things right there, right off the bat, right? In regards to how the game feels. These are visual things you can see. Um, Alon's doing it. The pass comes off very heavy. It doesn't matter which type of player you have. It's just this is just a thing that's happening as the game is playing. Ricardo Pereira with a lot of emphasis on the ball right there. His dribbling feels very heavy and slow. Ronaldo Sanchez, an absolute monster in this game, felt really questionable. But it's this clip right here, right? If you play FIFA enough over the years, you just notice these things instantly, even if you're watching a streamer play. And just forgive the streamer if they get upset or whatever if they lose a game because this is very frustrating because of how the game is formatted, right? But I just want to show you guys this one part right here, right? So Gelson Martins gets the ball. I want you guys to see this. You see that right there? And then I just want you to see how he runs. Just all that, right? But it's this part specifically that I want you to see. Boom. That is the most obvious one, but I showed you examples before of what was happening, okay? This was the thing that was happening the entire game. A lot of people when they play FIFA, they'll usually say, "Oh, it's because you're winning 4-3, that's happening because of this." No, this was happening since the beginning of the game. My game before this felt like this as well, and that's why this year I don't stress about these things. I'm just not going to play. I'm not going to continue playing. But the reason why I wanted to show this as an example for you guys is because I'm already seeing comments, right, from people saying that the patch has ruined the game. Guys, it isn't the patch. The one thing that I will say is that gameplay being bad has 100% been more noticeable in Foot Champs than it has been in Division Rivals. And obviously, Division Rivals' matchmaking is harder than playing in Foot Champs, but you can definitely see the difference in regards to gameplay during the daytime. And in that example, you can see it. Guys, for me personally, I need to tell you guys what's in my head, okay? I do still get annoyed that people always blame the patch for the game being ruined, right? I always hate that. It's not the patch that's ruining the game. It's the fact that EA hasn't fixed this issue that has ruined the game, okay? Because there's different variables as to why this ruins the game, okay? When you format your entire game around the competitive aspect, Stuff like this is unacceptable, okay? I'm not a pro player. I've never, the only time I ever did competitive FIFA was like literally FIFA 14 when I was a young kid, and I was like, oh, I just want to see what I'm like at competitive FIFA. But I don't like viewing FIFA as a competitive game. It's the meta players and all that stuff. I just want to play the game for fun, create content for fun. That's my goal, right? I just want to point that out there. I'm not a pro player, but I like to give my opinions on the game just like anybody else that plays the game enough, right? Okay. This FIFA is not a competitive game. And it's not a competitive game for different reasons, right? The RNG factor is massive. This inconsistent gameplay thing is massive because this gameplay right here 100% affects your performance playing this game. Like, people can go from getting Elite 2 one weekend playing only nighttime games and then getting like Gold 2 the next weekend because of this. Like, this is 100% an issue. But it's an issue, or it's more of an issue, because they've formatted this game completely competitive oriented. This is the most competitive oriented game I've ever played over literally anything else, and there's definitely more competitive games in other games, right? There's like, in regards to gameplay, they're just more competitive than FIFA. FIFA is not a competitive game with inconsistent gameplay, bad manual tackles, interceptions not working, deflections going back to players from bad angles in regards to shots, doing a last second fake shot that goes around defenders, doing these well, at the time, these freaking speed up elasticos, which thankfully they nerfed because those things were so stupid, right? But this is not a competitive game, okay? And I really want to force that part on people, because it's very important to say. Like, it's not something that I expect a lot of people to agree with, but like, we have to come to the conclusion that this is not a competitive game. We have to. It's just the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, there are good players, right? There are good players that can consistently do well in FUT Champs. I'm not saying that they can't, right? That's not the point. I'm just saying, from my perspective, playing this game, it is not competitive. I can play a game like Call of Duty, like CSGO, and I can see where the competitive comes from. But in a game like Call of Duty, it just doesn't. Because there's so many different factors that makes you win and lose a game. Okay, if FIFA was not viewed, or wasn't formatted in the competitive aspect with the way that this game is set up for FUT Champs, division rivals, skill-based matchmaking for freaking drafts, for friendlies, if it wasn't formatted like that, this game, for me, is actually pretty fun. Like, yes, inconsistent gameplay is 100% still a thing, but if you formatted your game around, and this is something that I've always mentioned to people, okay? Every single time I've mentioned this. If you kept draft skill-based matchmaking the way that it was before, because it's BS if they tell you anything otherwise, because I can't play drafts anymore. I used to play drafts more than anything else in the game. I used to say that drafts was the saving grace of the game. It's no longer the saving grace of the game. I cannot play drafts. It is no longer fun for me, right? But let's just say, for instance, you formatted your game like this. You have division rivals, skill-based matchmaking through the way you have it right now, because they have improved division rivals for the competitive aspect. They have. The skill-based matchmaking is awesome, because if you're in Division 1, you face people that are essentially 1800 and above, and then I think if you play co-op, sometimes you play people that are like 1400, 1500, but I disable co-op anyways because I don't want to play against co-op, right? But let's just say you have division rivals. Division rivals is fine because your game is not a competitive game. But guess what? A player who is good that loses a crappy match against a crappy opponent for different reasons, whether they're not using a full meta team or the gameplay was bad so they couldn't perform to the best of their ability, all that kind of stuff, that's okay, because you lose a match, whatever, you play the next match, you gain back points. That is a great concept that exists in literally every other game, Overwatch, CSGO, anything else. Okay, you have that concept. Then you have a tournament mode like the World Cup, like I've said for the last 3 or 4 years, because that mode is literal perfection for a game like FIFA because of how RNG it can be, right? You have the tournament mode that has the same matchmaking as the World Cup game mode, right? But you just have it like you do for a regular mode in FIFA, where you have the three rounds. Or not the 3 rounds, the 3 qualifying games. You get your rewards. You go through the rounds. You get your rewards for the whole thing. That's fun, right? And then FUT drafts, with the same way that you have skill-based matchmaking from before, you have it set up like that as well. Even on top of that, because one thing that I'll give EA credit for is how they have formatted these freaking gameplay objective cards, okay, because thank God they listened, because doing Jota in Division 1 was not fun, right? But this stuff right here is awesome. I love this. Hey, guys, I will give credit where credit is due, okay? This stuff right here is cool, man. Silver Lounge, No Boundaries, Rule Breakers Classic forces you to use different teams to earn certain players. And that, for me, is awesome. I love it because this is the friendly game mode. You can use loan cards if you want. You can use players that you have acquired through foot champs and, the gold upgrade or this or that through those, and then do this gameplay objective. And guess what? Guess what, EA? Because you still have the record on your main screen for some godforsaken reason, these games don't count towards your record. So you're just playing against people to get goals, to get assists, to get wins, and it's fun. It's fun because people are using different types of teams. Even though there is skill-based matchmaking in these friendly game modes, because there 100% is, it's still more fun to play this than to play literally anything else in this game. Tell me how we have gotten to a point where the friendlies mode is the best part of your game because it actually kind of, in a sense, forces you to use different players and use those players that you earn through foot champs and gold upgrades to use. I used to hate this part because they didn't do this part yet where they made you get gameplay objective cards through these specific game modes, right? The frequency of how they've been putting these things out constantly, they've been putting 1, 2, 3, 4 players in like a week. That's awesome for me, right? I wish you kept the ones from before through the season because you should. It's stupid to take them out, in my opinion, right? But regardless, they're cool to have in the game. Okay, that's the game modes part aside. That's how I've been seeing the game mode part of the game before it even came out. I told you guys that I wasn't hyped for it because I know that how the game was going to be formatted, right? I mean, there's nothing really else to add. I don't like foot champs as a game mode, all right? And I can do well in foot champs. The first week, we went like 9-0. Second week, we played 30 games in one 30 games in one day. We got 25-5 with some Portuguese players, some cool players in there. Like, because I don't really care about the record. I just want to like enjoy the experience of scoring with like players that I like. Like recently, I actually made this team. I'm going to show you guys like. Because you guys know I love Liverpool. I'm a huge Liverpool and Porto guy, right? So this team right here is sick for different reasons, right? It's sick because first owner, and then these guys right here, I'm going to try my best to get them in like a gold upgrade, pack them as a first owner as well, because it's Liverpool, Portuguese, first owner. The concept of the team is sick, but it's also a very usable team in the game. That's what makes FIFA fun for me, right? So I just wanted to show you guys that team. But the current state of FIFA, guys, right? And this is just a discussion video. Like, I'll tell you this right now. I like this game more than I liked FIFA in the last, like, I would say 3 or 4 years. But FIFA as a game, as a video game, is 100% not at the point it should be as a video game. Because there's so many variables gameplay-wise and game mode-wise that makes this game incredibly infuriating. In my opinion, guys, if you're a pro player, you put yourself in this situation to be a competitive player. I would never in my life play this game competitively. Never. I would never play this game competitively. You would have to pay me a very fat stack to play this game competitively because it changes your relationship with this game. Okay? It changes your relationship with this game. If you gave me a game mode, right, that has the matchmaking, let's just say, for instance, your foot champs record from 0 to 18, like let's just say you go like 15-3, right? Or you go 16-2 or whatever. The matchmaking between those 18 matches is amazing, bro. The matchmaking is amazing. And if you have a game mode where you have matchmaking like that, right, in FIFA, and people have fun using different teams, that's what's great. Because, guys, Don't get me wrong, in Foot Champs, yes, on Sunday, I definitely experienced the gameplay being absolutely terrible. I'm not saying it's not a thing because it is, but the patch is not the reason for that. I'm so tired of people being blinded by this. Okay, you play the game enough to realize that that one experience you have at that one moment is not your general experience playing the game. Have you guys ever played this game at 1:30 in the morning? Most of the times, just like every other year, it's pretty awesome. Especially this year's game, because attacking AI and finishing are significantly better. And the fact that you can, this is a huge part, the fact that you can dribble when the gameplay is good is a huge part. I've been having more fun in the game this year than in previous years, and I think you guys have noticed that through my player reviews because of those two things, attacking AI and finishing. But your experience of not enjoying this game, guys, is coming from how they formatted these game modes for a game that is not competitive because of the multiple problems that it has. When you force the competitive aspect on a game that isn't competitive, it's more frustrating because you can literally lose a game 3-0 and be better than the other opponent in FIFA. But it doesn't matter if you formatted the game differently. Okay, it wouldn't matter if you had a good balance of game modes. Thank God these friendly modes exist, okay? But it just wouldn't matter if they just had that balance, okay? That's all I wanted to say. It's the current state of FIFA is what it is. For me, I've been utilizing the market more. Like I do that CDM shadow sniping thing like that I told you guys in that video, and I've been making money like that so I can freaking do the gold upgrade pack. Like look, I have like a bunch of Turkish players right now because they were selling for 300 because when Squad Battle rewards come out, people just list these guys for like really cheap. So I just get a bunch of Turkish dudes. And if I sold these guys, I would actually make a profit because I'm only getting them for 300 coins. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, in a sense, create your own fun in the game. You have to still make meta, don't get me wrong, but just try to use players that you have fun with. You have to make the experience better for yourself under the situation that we're in. But I just really wanted to mention that because I feel like people sometimes are blinded by what FIFA actually is as a game. I still enjoy making content. For me, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. The YouTube content has been the saving grace of me being a FIFA content creator. It has been the saving grace, my dudes, because I love creating a video and seeing how it does afterwards. It is so amazing to do. But I'll tell you guys this right now. This game is not really streamable. You know what I'm saying? Because if I as a streamer get frustrated by the game not being up to par, it's like, oh, I'm just going to end my stream after 2 hours or whatever. Like, no. Right? Oh, the game modes I can play are only draft, division, rivals, and classic matches. You guys get what I'm saying? It's not really a streamable game, but YouTube, I love it, man. I love it. Nowadays, YouTube has, I'm telling you guys, YouTube has been the saving grace for me playing this game. Okay? Because the game is just not formatted in a way that is streamable. Okay? A player like Nick Merckx playing Warzone, having skill-based matchmaking in Warzone, but not playing the game in solos, playing it in trios and quads, and because he's amazing at the game, this is how it's going to work for him, right? He's going to have like a 4.0 KD, a 4.5 KD, but he's still going to match people that have like a 2.2 KD, which matchmaking wise is perfectly fine because the guy still slaps in the game because he is just significantly better than the above average player in Call of Duty. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, that game is streamable. FIFA's not really streamable because there's no like play the gameplay part and earn as you play. The only way that you can do that is if you go to the transfer market and just have a bunch of players selling for lazy buyers and you play the game, and then at the end of you playing your game, you could see how much coins you made from that. This year, I'm not like frustrated like I have been in previous years. In previous years, guys, I'm telling you, like the stress that entered my mind, like I've never been more insane in my life, like anger wise, like in previous years. And you guys have watched those videos. This year, I enjoy it more. I just think that I don't enjoy it as much as I would like to because EA doesn't format this game as they should because it's not a competitive game. Okay. Okay? So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to have this little discussion with you guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I'll see you for whatever they release today at 1. And I'm probably going to be streaming today as well because I want to just chill with you guys and just do some of these gold upgrade packs and see what I can get. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.